Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about my updated Joe Biden versus Donald Trump election prediction and analysis. So, I have not done one of these updates in a while, and since then the 2024 race really has ramped up. Now we have big names, Nikki Haley, well at least maybe one big name, Nikki Haley in the Republican field, along with people like Asa Hutchinson, Vivek Ramaswamy, Larry Elder, the list goes on. On the Democratic side, incumbent president, who is running for re-election, who just announced a few days ago, Joe Biden, is running, as I said, for re-election. He's being challenged by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Marianne Williamson, who have a combined 29% according to polls. But Joe Biden and Donald Trump are the frontrunners at this point in time. Donald Trump is dominating in recent polls. He hovers at just above 50% in the Republican field, and behind him is Ron DeSantis, all the way down at 20%, or 21%, wherever it is, according to polls, of course. So Trump has a dominating lead in that Republican field. Even over a big popular name like Ron DeSantis, who soared to victory in 2022. As I said, Joe Biden, Donald Trump are the frontrunners. Right now, they are most likely going to be our nominees for president in 2024 from the Republican and Democratic parties. So let's get into this election prediction, starting with safe Democratic states. Safe states are states that will be decided by a 15% or larger margin. So let's do that right now. California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey would be safe, New York, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut could be likely but probably safe, Vermont, Maine's first, Illinois, and Colorado for the first time in a while shifts into that safe column. Based on recent trends, of course, it is becoming more of a Democratic state. Now let's go to safe Trump states, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, North and South Dakota. Montana would probably be safe. Nebraska at large, Nebraska's first, Nebraska's third. Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas. We'll give Missouri safe, I guess. Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. Doesn't really matter. Indiana, I guess, will be safe also. And that will be it. So that puts Joe Biden at 191 electoral votes. Donald Trump at 107. So clearly, after safe states, Joe Biden has a huge advantage. An 84 electoral vote advantage, to be exact. So now let's get into likely states. So these states will be a little bit closer. I have them being a 5 to 15% margin, but we mostly know how they're going to go, starting with Joe Biden states. New Mexico, definitely a very Democratic state. Don't think I need to talk about that one too much, along with Maine at large. Virginia went to Joe Biden by 10% in 2020, and even though Glenn Youngkin won the governorship in 2021, since Roe, Democrats have been doing much better across the nation, and once again, Glenn Youngkin is not closely affiliated with Donald Trump. Okay, we have to remember that, or at least he wasn't when he ran. He very, very much distanced himself from Donald Trump, and that really helped him win. So Virginia, I'm staying as a likely margin for Biden. I think that Minnesota stays a likely margin. I went to him by 7, and a lot of Republicans endorsed by Donald Trump, Trump candidates as they call them, did worse than Trump himself across the nation in 2022. Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania, the Senate candidate, did 2 points, 3 points worse, 3 or 4 points worse than Trump. Tudor Dixon did so much worse than Trump here. She did 10 points worse, if I'm doing my math correctly. Derek Schmidt, the Republican nominee for governor in Kansas, did about 15 points worse than Trump, So, I mean, of course, there are other factors into this, but Donald Trump's, I think that, everyone thought that Donald Trump was at his bottom in 2020 due to COVID, poor economy, everything. And looking at how his candidates did in 2022, this might be his all-time bottom now. And it might be even trending into 2024. I mean, with especially Roe being overturned, Donald Trump, of course, in support of that, it really does not help him. It encourages people to, it's another factor to encourage people to go out and vote against Donald Trump. So, I really do believe that Donald Trump will do a little worse than he did in 2020. So, what state was I even on? I don't know, Minnesota or something. So, that goes for a lot of these predictions. And I believe that Michigan will go into the likely column for the first time since 2012. This was a state that went to Trump by less than a percentage point in 2016, one of the states in the blue wall that won him the election. In 2020, it flipped back to Biden. But looking at Donald Trump's fall since the 2020 election, I mean, his candidates did horrible, and he is being attacked on so many sides of the aisle now. And I think, saying that Biden won here by 3%, I think that he could do 3% better in 2024. So I do believe that Michigan will be a likely margin win for Joe Biden. Any more likely Biden states? I think there is one more, the state of New Hampshire. I mean, this one could be lean, but it did go to Biden by 7 in 2020. This is one I don't feel that Biden will do that much better here in 2024. It will, remain about the same, but I think that Joe Biden will win it once again. Now let's get into likely states for Donald Trump. Ohio and Iowa, two states that that Trump got shocking margins in 2016, saying that they were both Obama states. In 2012, Trump flipped them Republican both in 2016 and won them both by like 8 or 9. And then come 2020, Donald Trump shockingly wins them again. So these are two states that Donald Trump has really solidified in his column. I mean, these are not going anywhere for Donald Trump. And plus, all of his candidates, J.D. Vance did pretty well in the Senate race in 2022. And, I mean, he didn't really have a candidate in Iowa, but Republicans did fine there. They are fine statewide Republicans in these two states. Donald Trump will have no problem winning these two states by a likely margin in 2024. Kansas is a state that has been shifting to the left a lot recently. Joe Biden made it a likely margin in 2020. I believe that it will remain so in 2024. Texas is so tough, and we'll get to it after. Alaska is still a very Republican state. I mean, at the end of the day, Sarah Palin was a horrible candidate. Ranked choice voting, of course, helped Mary Peltola win here in the congressional race. That probably won't go anywhere. South Carolina, again, very Republican state, but not quite that safe margin. And just like Iowa and Ohio, Trump's special appeal in Maine's 2nd congressional district is not going anywhere. This was an Obama plus 8 district in 2012. It was a Trump plus 8 district in 2016. He shifted it 16 points to the right, and what do you know, in 2020, everyone thought it would flip back. No, Trump retained that 8%. It barely shifted to the left, a microscopic amount. Donald Trump won here by 8 in 2020. He will keep that appeal in these rural, populist independents in Maine's 2nd district. I feel that he will carry it once again. Florida is another state that is trending left. Sorry, not trending left. Trending right. Donald Trump has really made this state so much more Republican. And Ron DeSantis' 20% win here in 2022 proves that. I think that Florida will go to Trump, this time by a likely margin. This is the first time Florida goes to a candidate by a likely margin in a while. A Republican by a likely margin, I don't know the last time. I think it was George H.W. Bush in 1988. I could definitely be wrong on that, but yeah, I'm thinking 1988, which is like 35 years ago, which is insane. So, people in Florida love Trump. Latinos are, going to, camp Team Trump. Such high numbers they have been since 2016. So Florida, I think, goes to Trump, and that gives him a huge boost in this election prediction. So Texas is so tough. It went to Trump by 5.6% in 2020. And again, it has been shifting, trending left, trending to the Democrats. So can Biden, shift it 0.6% more? And I'm going to say no. I will feel that Texas will stay a likely state for Trump. Mostly, because of this interesting dilemma with Latinos in Texas and Florida and the Sun Belt. I mean, they are simply not voting for the Democratic Party, and that is a huge area of concern for the Democratic Party because that is who they need to win to, continue Florida, Arizona, Texas, all these states, to keep trending left. So, and Biden's immigration policy has been a large part failure to many people. And I really don't think that he is well liked in the Latino community. We know that in Florida. I mean, they voted for DeSantis in 2022. They voted for Trump in 2020. Such high numbers that I feel that Texas, Trump will only, remain about the same in Texas. Or, maybe a little better or a little worse. Who knows? So this is it for likely states. This puts Biden at 240 electoral votes. He still has an advantage, but it's much narrower now. Donald Trump has 219. 79 are currently toss-ups, and 270 are needed to win. So Biden is just 30 away. So now we will go into lean states. These states will be decided by 1 to 5%, starting with Joe Biden. Nebraska's second district, definitely 6.6% for Biden in 2020. This is one that really fluctuates. It's our small district. I mean, they go back and forth. So, but I still think that Biden wins here. All right, so now we get into the serious states. Nebraska's second is not a serious state. So, Arizona, I think that Joe Biden wins by a lean margin. This is a state that he flipped in 2020, and Democrats did amazing here in 2022. Katie Hobbs, against all odds, was able to win here despite, being described as a coward, scared of Kari Lake because Katie Hobbs refused to debate her. All polls indicated Kari Lake would win. Katie Hobbs, the Democrat, somehow wins. Mark Kelly won by like 5 here, okay, in the Senate race. That is an absurd margin for a state that was very Republican just a few years ago. So, Arizona, with it trending left so much, and Donald Trump being like, Arizona Republicans do not like Donald Trump. These are McCain Republicans, I remind you. They want traditional Republicans. That's why Kari Lake, Blake Masters did so poorly here in 2022. So Biden, I believe, wins Arizona once again. I would say that Georgia becomes a lean state for Joe Biden, and this is, a major state for him to win, and that puts him at 268. He won here by a tilt margin. He won this in 2020. This is not a pickup, I mind you. And Raphael Warnock won here in 2022, in 2022, in the runoff by, 2.5% or something? If he can do it, I think that Biden can win here by at least a point. So I feel that Georgia will go to Joe Biden. I don't know if I said this. Lean states are states that will be decided by a 1 to 5% margin. Not sure if I said that or not, but just to make sure. Yeah, that's what I believe. And Donald Trump just does so poorly here. It's funny. Brian Kemp, a traditional conservative who is mostly anti-Trump, won here by 7 last year. Herschel Walker, a Trump candidate, the Senate candidate, lost the runoff by 3. So that is a plus 11% margin for Brian Kemp when you're comparing Brian Kemp and Herschel Walker. So Trump is not well liked in Georgia. Georgia goes to Biden by a lean margin. So Pennsylvania definitely, this went to him by a lean margin in 2020. That wins him the presidency. So Pennsylvania, I definitely think, is a state for him that Joe Biden will win in 2024 by a lean margin. I don't know, 3 or 4%. John Fetterman excelled here in 2022. Dr. Oz, the Trump candidate, did horrible. Maybe Fetterman was just a really good candidate and Oz was just a bad candidate, but I definitely think that Trump's endorsement plays a part here. Trump lost here in 2020. His candidate won the primary, and his candidate ended up losing. That's a 2 losses in a row for Trump here. So looking at 2024, I don't feel that Trump has much hope in Pennsylvania. I think that Biden will win here by a lean margin. And I mean, Nevada, yeah, okay. Anyway. Alright, so the rest of the states I believe will be tilt. So Biden has 287, Trump has 219. Obviously, Biden wins the presidency. So the rest of the states I believe will be tilt margins less than 1%. So these are really close states, really hard to call. Starting with Biden, Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin will be so close, and I really could see it going to Donald Trump. I mean, we'll get to it. That will be the last state. But Nevada definitely, if not tilt, then lean for Biden in Nevada. So Nevada is a state that in 2022 elected a Republican governor. And mind you, they ousted a Democratic governor incumbent, so that's significant. But they also reelected their Democratic senator. So I think that the major issue in Nevada, as in many other states, was Roe, was abortion. And by 2024, I must admit, it will not be as big of an issue. It will still be an issue. I mean, a lot of people will still vote Democratic because the Democrats will still continue to use abortion as a campaign message. But so I think that this one is a close one. But then again, Trump is not popular across the country. It's not like Trump is some strong candidate, like he was in 2016. So Nevada goes to Biden. North Carolina, I don't feel will go to Joe Biden. I mean, just because Ted Budd. I mean, sure, Ted Budd was a stronger candidate than Trump, but still, Ted Budd won by 3.5 last year. Even with the abortion issue, we have to remember that, and even with Donald Trump, even with Ted Budd being a Trump candidate, we have to keep that in mind. So North Carolina, I feel, is too Republican for Joe Biden to win. I think that Trump will win there once again. And Wisconsin really is a tough state to call because I do feel that white working class voters, white working class men specifically, turnout among them will be abysmal. I mean, I don't feel that they will have a candidate that they will want to vote for. In 2016, they were all hyped up for Trump, and then 2020, they very reluctantly voted for Joe Biden. And now, with Trump, not the same as he was in 2016. That has to be said too. Donald Trump is not the same Trump as he was in 2016. And, Biden clearly not really working for them in their opinions. They won't really enjoy either major party candidate. So, but with that, Wisconsin still does have a lot of Democratic votes. I think that Biden wins there by a tilt margin. So I believe that Joe Biden will win with 303 electoral votes in 2024, and Donald Trump will lose with 235. Interestingly enough, I feel that that the electoral map will be the same. Margins are different, but every state call will be the same. It's not the same electoral vote number as the 2020 census affected which states electoral vote counts for each state. But whatever. You guys know the deal. So I believe that Joe Biden will win re-election against Donald Trump in 2024. So thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Again, make sure to subscribe. Thank you.